Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
WLFE-DB Digital Network are engaging in the safe space. What is safe space? A safe space is a supporting and affirming environment for individuals within the LGBTQ+ community. Each podcast displaying the Safe Space logo will have resources available on hand for those in need without judgment. Here at WLFE-DB Digital Network, we care. We listen, we support, we understand.
Hi, and welcome to Through Kaledoscope Eyes, a weekly show where we tell stories of unsung heroes one at a time within the LGBTQIA+ community and allies. We will also be discussing various topics with each special guest. I'm your host, Lacrosse Ortiz. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Through Kaledoscope Eyes. I'm your host, Lacrosse Ortiz, and today I have a special guest who is going to be my co-host, Kenni Miles. Say hello.
How are you?
Hi. And today we're going to be touching a really interesting and I think important topic. We're going to be talking about being an ally and how can you be an ally for the LGBTQIA+ community. So I guess we should begin there. What is actually being an ally? So basically, once again, I'm going to read it from here because we have this from Penn State, which is a really amazing breakdown of what being an ally is. But it says, before diving into a bunch of terminology, it is important that you know what it means to be an ally and what an ally is in general. This is the place to learn more about being an ally and what being considered an ally means. So an ally is a member of the dominant majority group who takes a stand against social injustice directed at a targeted groups. For example, white people speak out against racism, a heterosexual individual who speaks out against heterosexism or homophobia. An ally works to be an agent of social change rather than an agent of oppression. So that's what an ally is. Oh, hi, Ted. Here's Ted.
Hello, Ted. How are you?
He runs WLFE DB TV radio network.
Okay.
I gotta get it all.
Big man.
Yeah, he's the big man. He's watching me.
Thanks for watching.
I'll be good. I promise. I'll behave. Anyway, so let's dig right in on this. So what is being an ally? And there are a lot of questions here that allies do ask. Which is really good because then we can literally hit one of them one by one and give a breakdown on what can you do to help and be supportive. So the first one is, which some allies ask, how can I tell if someone I know is lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender?
They have to tell you.
Right? It's like there is no mark on them. There's no witch's curse on them or something that determines that. Right.
You can't really tell that somebody is gay, lesbian. I mean, obviously there's common things like femininity or somebody's too masculine as a woman or, that people use to slap a label on somebody. But obviously you can't, you're not a mind reader. You're not a mind reader.
Yeah, you're not a mind reader. I mean, if an effeminate man is not always gay and a masculine woman is not always lesbian, that it doesn't work that way. Some things are they're a part of their personality, but it doesn't determine their sexual orientation. So I would think that the best, if somebody wants to come out to you, first off, you have to make a safe space for them. You can't just drill a person and say, are you gay or are you lesbian? Are you transgender? Are you this or that? You can't drill a person. You have to literally create a safe space for them to feel that they can tell you.
Yeah, there's a way to go about things to not necessarily put somebody on the spot.
Yeah.
you definitely have to make sure that that person is comfortable with you. And if you ultimately know that that person is completely comfortable with you, I feel like if you ask certain questions, and there's some things that we will touch as we go on with the rest of the podcast, that, you know, reflects
Right.
on that type of topic.
Right. Well, you know what? Thank you, Ted. Here you go. I've made that mistake. Thought this feminine guy was gay. Nope, wrong. But you know, that can flip the other way.
Yeah,
There,
listen,
you got some bears that there is no way you would know, you know, that they are gay because they are so spewing masculinity, or some women who just have all this femininity, you know, and they're gay or lesbian, and you wouldn't have never pegged it. You would have never guessed it.
That doesn't judge somebody, like whether they're feminine or masculine does not judge their sexual orientation at all.
Right.
The community as a whole has labeled people, you're either a man or a woman,
Right.
forever. You
Right.
know, it's never been anything else. And
Right.
if you're raised in that type of mentality, it's really hard to, unless you educate yourself, to understand.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing. All right. I guess so I hope that cleared that up. You don't know. You're not going to know.
They need to tell you.
They need to come and tell you. Don't assume anything, because when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
You make a an assumption. Yeah.
Yeah, ass out of you and me.
Yeah, an ass. Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, next.
The next one is, I believe it's, what kind of things might a person who's a lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender go through when coming out? So what are some things that they would go through? So I was talking to Lee before we came on here, and I was like, you know, we can speak from personal experience, but I can speak as far as coming out as a gay man. When I was 14, but some of the things that I've experienced were depression. I felt betrayal. I felt fear. You know, there was a lot of mixed emotions. There was a lot of different things that happened, but suicidal feelings were definitely there. I definitely had a lot of those, and had some very dark times with that. You know, and I was outed in the workspace.
Right.
And this was before, well, I guess it can't be before I came out, because it was definitely after, but I never really wanted to come out in the workplace, and the way that I wanted to was definitely not that. So it is not your place. It's nobody's place but that person's to make that decision to come out.
Right, right. There's well, it says here, like, there's an anxious worry, and really that is huge. When you are coming out, you have all this anxiety because you're scared you're going to be rejected, ridiculed.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the possibility of losing family, friends, you know, your employment. Like, there's right here, even in the state of Pennsylvania, I'm very fortunate. I live within the city limits of Lancaster, PA. So we're protected. But the minute that you step outside the city, you're not protected. Once you go into the county, which you would think, as progressive as the city is, it would be a lot better, but it's not. As soon as you go into the county, they could kick you out of a dining hall.
They can very conservative. Yeah.
Yep. They can not give you a home. They can fire you. You know, I mean, something as simple as, if I want to go and eat with my wife.
I think that's enough to be scared, you know, about.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
it's
here you
all
go.
Of your rights. All of your rights. All of your
Are,
rights as a regular American that you have are stripped away from us.
Right. And sadly, in Lancaster County, not the city, there are no rights. So the minute I leave the city limits, I have to worry. Can I use the bathroom? Can I do this? Can I do that? You know, so there is this fear and anxiety of a person who's going to come out, you know, so, and all these losses. So yeah, I mean, for me, when I came out, it was definitely fear of wondering if people would understand.
Bullying and abuse are definitely two good ones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, Lacrosse knows Truth. Like that interview, if anybody hasn't seen it, you have to see that interview. That was some hardcore, what it was like back in the 80s and 90s of coming out. And it's also scary because your life may even depend on it. There's a possibility you could get beat up, you could get killed, murdered. How many people are being murdered today? Transgender women of color being murdered. So these are legit fears. Oh, here's a good question. Does things seem to be getting any better? Oh, hi, Sandy. Or is everyone still just ignorant? I'd like to believe it's getting better. I want to believe it's getting better. But you still have these few stragglers that are...
People are still ignorant.
Yeah, there are still people who just don't want to accept it. Whether it's because they're like...
There are progressive waves. There are definitely progressive waves that are happening, and things are changing. It's just about educating the right people.
Right.
And you have to find a way to approach different generations with education. Absolutely. So with the younger generation, there's a lot more things that we can be open about because it's here, it's there, it's out there. The older generation is more reserved and conservative, and it's a little bit, you have to take a more cautious route when you're educating them, but they understand. I've educated plenty of people, and I've definitely opened a lot of people's eyes in the 6 years that I've been entertaining alone. So especially when you're with mixed crowds and mixed age groups and stuff like that, like I said, it's just a different education or educational way to go about things with different
I hear hardcore ignorance. Old dinos, I say, they are set in their ways. Yeah, they are. Some people are. I'm actually embarrassed for the older crowd sometimes. Me being an older person, I'm like, come on, guys. Come on.
For example, like my grandmother is, going into her 70s, and she's coming around.
Right.
She's coming around. It's a rocky part right there, but she's coming around, and she's educating herself, and she's becoming more of an ally.
Oh yeah.
And she's hardcore conservative. So to see her coming around, that's how I can tell that there's progressive waves happening, Sandy. So there's definitely, things are definitely getting better.
Yeah. So our next one, what kinds of things might a trans person go through when they begin to acknowledge their true identity? Oh.
So this is the cross can speak.
Yeah, this is once again, feeling guilty because sometimes your family refuses to see you as the gender that you identify with. Isolation, depression, suicidal, low self-esteem. And that's something, I don't want to speak for all transgender people, but I know with me, it was mostly the guilt of, they're like, I've known you like this my whole life. And how I don't even know you. And I'm like, I didn't change. I'm still the same person I was before the transition. I'm still there. It's just, I'm just changing my gender, but who I was in here, I'm still the same, person. So it's very scary. And then once again, also the fear. Fear runs rampant because when you tell somebody that you're transgender, whether it's family, friends, or coworkers, or just fellow people, you risk the fear of knowing, okay, a lot of people will look at you and you're a liar. You lied to me. You told me you were a man and you're this and that could literally put you in jeopardy. Like literally put you in jeopardy. And that's always been a fear with me. But now I think I've been so boldly public about it that it's not a surprise to people anymore. The first response now I get is like, oh, I would have never known. No way, So, but
that touches there. Don't ever make somebody feel like they have to be passable to be who they are.
Yeah. True.
I've friended and have been a part of many trans women's lives that they're not necessarily passable as women, and that's not their fault.
Right.
But this
Right.
is who they identify as, and it's just common respect to allow that person to be them.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
appreciate the inner beauty. Doesn't always
Yeah.
have to be the outer beauty.
True.
Just imagine how much harder it is on them in their mind, to process having to be passable. You don't have
Yeah.
to be passable. It's
Right.
society that really drills people. You have to look like this to be a woman. You have to look like this to be a man, and that's not the case.
Right. And for the record, I've been very fortunate. I was passable before I even got on T. I mean, I was just, this is all people saw for the longest time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Here we go. What is sad is families teach their kids being gay is wrong. That stems from their fathers and their fathers. Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely that toxic masculinity that keeps spewing through. Me too, Lacrosse. I don't know if people stop and think about what they say or if they just say it to get a rise out of people. I think just some people, I would say a lot of people who are like this are just bitter, hateful people or ignorant. Bottom line, they're ignorant. They don't know any better because this is what they were taught and this is what they know. But I hate to think that people purposely do it, but there are people who are just that hateful. So, next one. If someone wants advice on what to tell their roommate, friends, or family about being lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, how can you help? Well, the truth is, your best help is to just be a support. Don't tell them what they should do. You could raise up concerns, but to literally, if they're going to come out to somebody, your best bet is to just support and help pick up the pieces if it goes wrong.
And a big reminder is just you need to allow that person to come out when they are ready.
Absolutely.
You can't force them out. It also says here that do listen carefully, reflect on the concerns and feelings you hear expressed, and accept. Oh my goodness, did you see that?
Yeah.
And nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed.
Okay, and I lost my spot, of course.
And suggest.
Somebody's advice. I'm sorry, I lost my spot.
I found it.
And suggest available resources for support. Help the person think through the possible outcomes of coming out, but support the person's decision even if you don't agree with it.
Absolutely.
And ask about the outcomes of any action taken. So just honestly, like Lacrosse said, be their support system. Be somebody that even if this person rejects them when they do eventually come out, they still know that they have somebody that they can come to that's going to be a safe haven and still love them for who they are.
Absolutely.
I can't believe my nose just did that.
I didn't see anything.
I think
did you drip?
It dripped.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
There it is. There you have
there it is. That's it. It'll help me. I'll stick my finger up my nose. That you'll feel better. That way we both had something bad. All right.
Allergies are horrible.
All right. What do I do if someone who is lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, or queer? I mean, this is the rainbow community. So from this point, I'm just going to say rainbow community. What if someone from the rainbow community wants to come out in my office or resident floor hall or within the context of any other group that I'm a part of? All right. First off, it says help the individual think through the possible outcomes, because not every workforce or group that you're in is going to be supportive of that person. And maybe here it goes, mention to option coming out to a few people at a time as opposed to the whole group. If someone has decided to come out, let them know you will support them. And it goes right back full circle. Just be supportive. That's the best thing you can do for them.
I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, the true definition of being an ally is being a supportive individual to a community. And that can be to well, in this case, the LGBT community. How to be the A in the LGBTQIA.
Yeah, there you go. Next, how should I respond to heterosexual friends or coworkers who feel negatively about a person who is in the rainbow community? So how do you respond to that? Kendra, you want to?
So yeah, so when it comes to rumors or somebody talking negatively about somebody, now the good thing is most companies, and it's not all, but most companies, like you said in Lancaster area, do have the option, at least, and there's a company that I work for, it's Growth Collaborative, and our company in general is what I will use as an example. So I'm not saying all companies. I don't want to get anything wrong. But at least with our company, if there's any type of incident that occurs with somebody speaking negatively about anybody, causing rumors, starting issues, you address that situation with either the party that's involved or you go to management and you have them address the situation. If you're the type of person that doesn't like confrontation, you can take the anonymous, discussion to HR or management, and they will take it into their hands. But it says here, when such problems arise, it is most useful to discuss this with the people involved. See, like I just said.
Right.
Help them see that they are talking about a person, not just a sexual orientation or gender identity. Make sure that you have accurate information so that you may appropriately discuss the myths and stereotypes that often underlie such negative reactions. Note the similarities between LGBTQ people and heterosexual people. Be clear with others that while they have the right to their own beliefs and opinions, that you will not tolerate anti-gay or anti-trans comments or discriminative remarks. Remember that others may take their cues from you. If you are uncomfortable with hostile to, or ignore someone who is lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, others may follow suit.
Right.
Conversely, if you are friendly with the person and treat them with respect, others may follow.
Right. True. And I think that's the whole point.
Pointing out the similarities between both communities. I mean, we're both human.
Yeah.
We both love.
Mm-hmm.
We both live normal lives in our own, states. What's the issue?
Right. Right.
In the end, there is none. And when they really are pointed out how many similarities there are, and the only difference is this.
Right.
You're just hating somebody to hate them.
Right.
And what the heck is that? That's ignorance.
Yeah.
Because definitely. You really don't know that person.
Right. Oh. I was fortunate where I used to work. I was very supportive of the rainbow community, and that's great. Oh, and this is cute. Oh my goodness, does this mean that I'm an ally? Well, then evidently, yes, it does. You are an ally. Thank you for being an ally. That was in stereo. You got it from me and Kenny.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
All right. What should I say to someone? And this is a real heavy conversation right here. Okay. And this one hits home to me. What should I say to someone who is afraid of contracting HIV/AIDS from someone in the rainbow community? Okay. Now I'm going to get off my soapbox. Okay. Because I'm about to get up on my soapbox. First off, educate your damn self. Educate yourself.
Doesn't matter what community you are in. Obviously, HIV/AIDS has been around for a very long time, and if you are not educated on by now, just because you are not gay does not mean that you should not be educated.
Right.
STDs are real,
mm-hmm.
And it is always something to be educated on.
Yeah.
Like you said, educate your damn self.
Oh, Lord. But the truth is, no, you cannot contract it by social interaction. You cannot contract it by... You would have to have a gallon of saliva. I don't know about I'm not one to swallow a gallon of saliva. So with that being said, you're not going to get it from hugs. You're not going to get it from kisses. It's literally transmitted by blood transfusion or open sore to open sore or sex, unprotected sex. There it is in a nutshell. So educate yourselves. You're not going to get the heebie-jeebies, or you're not going to get it from touching a person. So
You're not going to get it from sharing a towel from somebody. You're not going to get it from using the same toilet as somebody. You're not going to get it from, them breathing on you. Oh my God. Oh my
Don't
God.
breathe too heavy. Don't breathe too heavy.
That's COVID, bitch. That's not HIV.
So, next one is, how can I support a rainbow community without my own sexual orientation becoming an issue? All right. Here we go. Be aware that if you speak out about issues related to sexual orientation, some people may take this as an indication of your own sexual orientation. Take time in advance to think through how you might respond. How do you feel about your own sexual identity? Are you comfortable with your sex? Regardless, your sexual orientation and confidence in your own self-image will make you less vulnerable. Because here's the deal. The chances of you speaking up about somebody's sexual orientation will make you a target. So there's a chance that they're going to come at you and say, oh, well, then you must be gay, because that's people's ignorant minds.
Society as a whole right now.
And, what your sexual orientation is. Here we go. Thank you, Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Be strong in your sexuality. Just know that you know what your sexual orientation, and you're comfortable in your sexual orientation. That's why you're not intimidated by other sexual orientations. It boils down to that. Most people who are aggressive are intimidated by their own sexual orientation because they really don't know where they stand. So if you want to elaborate on that.
Like Ted said, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be a target. Pop that up. Kick their asses. Don't allow them to make you a target. Don't ever allow them to put a target on your back. You need to stand stern and be happy with who you are.
Right. Exactly. All right. Here's another good one. How can I get others to be more open-minded about rainbow community? How do you get people to be more open-minded? Well,
educating.
Role model. Be an example. That is definitely.
It reflects back onto, like, if you hear somebody talking about somebody negatively, you approach the person and say, listen, I will not tolerate this, and just show them how you respond. And sometimes it really throws people like, whoa, I didn't think that. People do say and do a lot of things before thinking, and that's why a lot of these questions are answered with think before you speak. Think about the outcome. Think about how people are going to react, how people are going to feel, and just think before you speak.
Right.
It's always a smart thing to do.
Ma's in the house. Yep. And always be yourself. Hi, Ma.
Hi, Whitley.
Yeah, that's the main thing. And you have to lead by example. You have to, share your own beliefs and your own, when you feel that it's appropriate, share your own beliefs. Because sometimes you could share your beliefs and they're going to shit on them. It's what people do, Here we go. Never ever leave the side of a friend because of fear. He or she depends on you. And if you're their friend, family, you will stand with them 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That's what we're talking about. Form that support system. Be that support system. Even if that person loses their entire family. There are people that happens to on a daily basis.
Yeah.
In the LGBT or the rainbow community. But be that strong, sturdy shoulder that they need. Right. That's the best way to be in that life.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be back with more questions, Q&As on how to be an ally. All right. Be right back.
See you soon.
Oh, yeah. Life just got sweeter now that WLFE-DB has merchandise. Show your support by purchasing your t-shirts for WLFE, Paratalk Radio, Inside the Drag Closet, and more. But it doesn't stop there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, tanks, buttons, cloth bags, and more. Go to WLFE-DB.com. On the top bar, click on the merchandise tab and bam, there you go. You got merch. Support the shows. WLFE-DB.com. WLFE Digital Broadcast Network is on TV. You can watch all of our shows on WLFE-DB.com. Check out our channels. Paranormal View for all of your paranormal type shows. LGBTQ Friends for all of our LGBTQ shows. Variety Unlimited for all other shows. It runs 24/7 right on WLFE-DB.com. You'll even catch the lives, all in one place. Never miss an episode, past or future. WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows. Search for your favorite shows like Where's My Sage, Inside the Drag Closet, Across the Pond, Everything Yet Nothing, Paratalk Radio, Step into the Paranormal, The Creepy Parlor, Just Cindy, and more. Now you won't miss an episode. Remember, follow Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Make sure you subscribe and follow your favorite WLFE-DB radio shows. You can find our shows where you listen to your favorite podcasts, like Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and more. WLFE-DB Radio is looking for podcasts to join our family. You don't have to fit any strict genre. We're a plethora of shows. If you're looking to jump on a growing network, then contact us at WLFEDBradio@gmail.com.
Wow, Amazon Music just got a whole lot better. Your favorite shows from WLFE-DB Radio can now be found there. Yes, we are on Amazon Music, found under podcasts. Download the app, find podcasts, and search all of your favorite shows. Shows like Where's My Sage, Across the Pond, Everything Yet Nothing, Skeptical Help Bar, The Creepy Parlor, Just Cindy, and much more. Now you don't have to miss an episode ever. Amazon Music is WLFE-DB Radiofied.
You're listening to WLFE-DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
All right, we're back.
I like how she goes, creepy parlor.
That's actually a really good show. It's really good. That one and Where's My Sage, I like to watch. I mean, I haven't had a chance to watch all of them. I need to make the time.
I'm definitely going to make the time. Some interesting little podcasts there.
Oh, yeah. Got some really cool shows. Okay, and we shall continue.
All right.
Here is the next one. Hold on. Looking at my papers. How can I support a rainbow community with... Oh, no. We already did that. Ew. All right. Okay. Well, no. You know what? Real quick. We're going to touch on the HIV. Yeah, we're going to retouch on that real quick. The main thing is that if you're fearful, you know, unless you plan to be intimate with people, you need to use protection. I think that's an important thing. Bottom line, educate yourself and use protection. I forgot what you wrote.
I have this one here. It says HIV is not transmitted through ordinary social contact. It is necessary for everyone to be knowledgeable about HIV and AIDS. Always educate yourself. Always, always, always.
Get tested.
Yes, get tested regularly. If you are very sexually active and you're not sure, this is speaking to our rainbow community and to our allies. Test it. Get tested regularly. It's not anything that's frowned upon. It's definitely cheered on, you know, because it's always great to be safe about things. But it says Student Health Services and our Wellness Center can provide you with pamphlets. We don't have that here available for you. Penn State does. But there are different doctor's offices. You know, your doctor, if you ever talk to your doctor can provide you with more information. You can research it online. It's all over the place with information. Definitely educate yourself. And I really do think it's important that people don't shun and they don't disrespect people that live with HIV, because it's already hard enough for them to live their life as a normal person and be under the radar. Most of them are, that's personal business. The only people that know about it are close to them. But people that are open and public about it, kudos to you.
Yeah.
You are educating people. You are bringing it to light. You are allowing people to know that this has always been an important subject to talk about. That's why I talked to Lacoste and said, I think we should touch more on this, because it's definitely an important topic. Oh, Ted yelled at you.
No, I have. I've been a good boy. I have.
But again, like I said, proper education, get tested. And when it comes to dealing with people and being a support system to somebody that has HIV or AIDS, it's just good to be that stern support. Keep it amongst yourselves, just allow that person to have that confidence in you, because some people really do need that person. So yeah, be an ally.
Oh, and also know that there have been huge scientific breakthroughs where it is non-transmittable, like
waves.
Huge breakthroughs. So once again, educate yourself.
Yes,
that's going to be like my hashtag.
Hopefully,
educate yourself.
Hopefully one day HIV will disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully,
along with all the other gruesome diseases that attack people,
cancer, all that. Yeah, but hopefully HIV/AIDS. There's definitely been progressive waves with research and a possible vaccination and stuff like that. So yeah, it's coming. We're working on it.
All right, here's another one. How can I respond to someone who tells jokes about the rainbow community? Well, bottom line is, like me, I know when I hear a lot of locker room talk, even though it's not the same thing, but it's kind of close, I let them know I don't like that type of talk. That's a big thing with me. If I feel that you are degrading another human being, or you're, bringing another race down or whatever, I'll be quick to say, yeah, I don't like that talk. I'm sorry. I sometimes get shunned right back, but that's okay, because the truth is, then that's obviously somebody I don't want to be around if that's the way they're going to act. But here it says labeling a belief as it just being unacceptable is a way of supporting. Once again, it goes back to speaking. You have to tell people, look, this is not cool. I don't appreciate it. Let's not do this. So if you find yourself there, it's okay to speak up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and it goes the same thing with like people with bad attitudes towards the rainbow community. You just be honest, because the truth is, at the end of the day, if you're silent, you're kind of saying it's okay. So your best bet is to open your mouth, or make it very clear that you don't appreciate it or approve, and walk away with disdain. That would be a good way of doing it.
It's one thing I sit here and say, 2020 has definitely taught us that it's okay to bring things to light. It's okay to speak up about things. It's okay to want change and not necessarily force people to accept change, but guide people in the direction of change the proper way. But all we want is acceptance.
Right.
Exactly. At the end of the day, just for who we are. We're not telling you that you have to participate in our lifestyle. We're not telling you, even though, our lifestyle and our community is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Definitely unique. But
you're like, you're lost.
Yeah.
No. All right, here's another one. This is a good one for me. All right. How can I respond to somebody who objects to the rainbow community for religious reasons? All right. Unless you are a scholar, your best bet is to leave it alone. you can't force somebody to see your perspective. You can't force people to be as accepting, unless you can back that up and set, unless, you're a Christian and you have the scripture to back it up, unless you're Jewish and you have the scripture to back it up. The Quran, you have the scripture to back it up. It doesn't matter what your religion is, but unless you actually are well versed in your own scripture, where you can have an honest debate and a respectful debate, just leave it alone. So I don't know if you agree.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
I do. Like, when it comes to, okay, so like I was saying, my grandmother's very conservative, and she's very religious, and she believes in what she believes. But there are ways to open the eyes of the older generation, and it's just all in your context.
Right.
It's all in first off, you have to be open-minded. You have to be open-minded. In order to see all sides of the spectrum, you have to be open-minded. You can let somebody sit there, rant, rave, and be mean and disrespectful, but you're going to voice yourself, and you're going to say that, I don't tolerate this. I don't tolerate this. This is why. Mm-hmm. I don't want to give the example that I was going to give because it's a personal example, not my personal example, it's somebody else's, and it's not my business to put out there. But for say there's a friend, if you have a friend somewhere that is going through an issue with, say, a roommate that feels like there's more of a relationship of a lesbian relationship, and there's really not. And I forget where I was going with this, but say that there's that going on, and then you're trying to address the situation with a family member to get out of the situation because it's just a toxic environment.
Right.
But that family member is automatically assuming that there's a relationship going on there, and they're not about, because of their religion, they're not about that type of lifestyle, so they don't even want to hear it. They don't even want to hear what's going on at all. And at the end of the day, I was like, why don't you address the situation like this? There's a toxic environment that I need to get out of.
Right.
And that's all you have to say. So you don't have to go into detail. This person is obviously bad for you, and you need to remove yourself from the situation. In the end, where was I going with that, Lee?
About the religious. Just
okay,
you can't fight it.
You can't. And you can only educate in their terminologies.
Right.
If you can't use their terminologies, like Carl said, if you're not a scholar and you're not educated on how to handle that type of situation, you're not going to win.
And don't get me wrong, I live for those debates. I live for religious debates about it.
We won't have one of those tonight.
Yeah, not tonight. Not tonight. All right. So how can you be an ally? So here's a few pointers that I'm going to read off, and then we're going to go into the pros and cons of being an ally.
A lot of repetitiveness, and it's about restore your ignorance and educate yourself.
Yep.
That's the best way to be an ally.
Here's using the words gay, lesbian, bisexual, or queer instead of homosexual. Not everybody identifies as homosexual. It's a little outdated word. It's not an umbrella anymore. So just try and steer away from using the word homosexual. So a lot of the community will identify with or use the word to describe themselves, but just it's more respectful to just use the word that they identify. So if somebody tells you I'm lesbian, then you identify them as lesbian. Use non-gender specific language. Ask, are you seeing someone? Are you in a relationship? Do you have, the whole thing is, do you have a boyfriend or girlfriend? It's no good. Oh, yes, they, them,
I identify as non-binary.
Right.
I don't identify gender.
Right.
They, them is preferred, but he, she, her, him does not offend me at all.
Right. So, but don't ask if they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Just ask if they have a partner a significant other, that's more respectful. And then they like people, like it's easier when people ask me, do you have a significant other? And I say, I have a wife. And she'll say she has a husband. But just don't assume the roles that we play in our marriage, because you're not in our home to know what roles we play. And sometimes they're not even gender specific. So the best bet is to just don't assume. Okay. Do not assume the sexual orientation of another person, even when the person is married or in a committed relationship. Many bisexuals or even some gay men and lesbians are in heterosexual relationships. It does happen, believe it or not. Don't assume that, someone who is transgender is gay, or that person will seek therapy in an attempt to become heterosexual. This I have seen personally. My wife and I are together, and they're like, well, you're lesbian. Well, no, I'm a man. So I'm not lesbian. Or they'll tell her she's lesbian, and she's like, no, I'm with a man. So just don't assume, the roles. Here we go.
Out of you and me. We're making an ass out of you and me.
Right.
Never assume.
Okay. Oh, this is one of my favorite. Do not assume that every gay, lesbian, or bisexual person is attracted to you. Yeah.
I'll roll my eyes on that one.
I can't tell you how many times I have spoken with somebody and they assumed that I was attracted. And I was like, oh, no, honey, I'm sorry. I'm just a really flirtatious person and very charismatic, but you're not even my type. Then they got upset because they weren't my type because I said that.
I've had some scares.
It's like, honey, pick a struggle. Okay, you want me to be attracted to you or not?
As my normal self, I haven't had very many scares. I think life has been pretty fine. But on the drag side of things, I've had quite a few scares.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
You suspected and you assumed. You made an ass out of you and me.
Yep. Another one. You're right.
You made an ass out of you and me.
Challenge your own conceptions about gender appropriate roles and behaviors. Do not expect people to conform to society's beliefs of men and women. And what does that mean? Here's a perfect example. My wife works. I work part-time, but I homeschool. I do the cleaning, the laundry, the cooking. I'm a stay-at-home dad. This is not, those roles are not gender related.
There's plenty of stay-at-home dads.
Right, exactly. So just don't assume people's roles based on gender. Speak out against statements and jokes. Educate yourself also about the rainbow history. It's important, if you're going to be an ally, to understand what brought us to where we are today.
Now, mind you, there's a lot of us that don't know our own history.
True.
Ignorance lies across all fields, but if you want to be an ally, it is important to educate yourself.
Mm-hmm. Also, educate children about families that have two moms and two dads. That's important too, because each family is unique and individual.
I do feel that coming from different perspectives, and my personal opinion, I do believe that when it comes to children, you don't necessarily have to introduce it or speak of it, because I come from a family where it wasn't necessarily spoken of. It just was okay.
Right.
My grandmother and her partner, it was okay.
Right.
It was never really, they were together, but they shared the same bed, for years. They lived in the same house. They raised the family together. So it was there. It just was never labeled as anything.
Right.
Which I think is so amazing. And I'm so glad that I got to experience that, because it's just the older generation just doing their thing.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it was nobody's business. And that was okay.
And they loved each other, and it is what it is. It was what it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Support yourself, or support and involve yourself in the rainbow community. Come to prides, come to shows,
Definitely
come to events that support the community. it's important. And I don't want to just say drag shows, because drag shows are not the end all of our community. But if you see an event happening, whether it's that, or whether it's, like I said, Pride, or whether it's just, I don't know.
They have leather nights at clubs. They have,
like,
you know, all these different groups that meet at clubs of the LGBT community, you know, the leather, the pup community, all of that, different things, and different sectors, I guess you can say, of our community. But yeah, just go out for one of those events. Go out to the gay bar. Why not? You might get hit on, but you know what? Take it as a compliment.
There you go.
As you would anybody else. You know, if you're strong with your sexuality and you're strong enough to know who you are as a person, that's all that matters. You can be a support system for somebody.
All right, so we got 10 minutes, so I got to zip through this. Some benefits of being an ally. You learn more accurate information about the reality. You open yourself up to the possibility of close relationships on a wider range with people. Become less locked into gender role expectations. You increase your ability to have close relationships with same gender friends. The opportunities to learn, teach, and have an impact in your community. You can empower yourself to take an active role in creating a more accepting world. Maybe a role models for others. That's huge. And your actions, it may help someone in the future. You may be the reason a friend, sibling, child, coworker, or someone else, you find greater value in their life. So once again, you may be helping somebody and you don't even know it just by being an ally. And you may make the difference in their life. And that's really key and important. Some of the risks of being an ally. Others may speculate your orientation or gender identity. You probably will be criticized and ridiculed. You could get alienation from family, friends, colleagues. You may become the target of an overt or subtle discrimination. Your values, morality, and personal character may be questioned by people who believe that being in the rainbow community is against their religion. It could be wrong, sinful, and against their family values. And you may have even some people in the LGBT who are going to think that you are in the rainbow community, and you're not. You're just an ally.
Well, you are, because you're an ally, but you're not specifically involved in the community.
And then
as a whole,
people may not trust you because they may question your motives from the rainbow community. And yeah, it does happen. I mean, some of us have been hurt so bad that we don't trust people, and we'll be like, what's your agenda? What are you up to? Why are you trying to get close to me? Or why are you trying to be there? And that comes, I think, with the scar and the trauma of history of back before, when people claimed to be supportive and didn't. So I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
Still, you know, even to this day, there's a lot of fear in the LGBTQ or the rainbow community. Here I go, LMNOP, QRS, TP, all the letters and colors.
The whole alphabet. Let's make some
anyway, the rainbow community, all over the world, there's different, you know, people are being beheaded because they're gay. Just because they're gay. Just because the person that they love or something that they did not choose. Right. Or something that they did choose to be themselves. They're trans, you know, just being beheaded for being trans or identifying as who you are. It still sheds a lot of fear on the common day of our rainbow community. There are progressive waves, yes, but there's still that fear. There's still that sense of you're going to betray, you're going to be shunned, you're going to be, you know, you don't know. You don't know. You know, but and that's so scary.
It will put you in our shoes, even if it's just for a quick moment. And then, you know, empathy goes, wow, that was loud. Empathy goes, excuse you.
Excuse me.
Empathy goes, yeah, exactly. Empathy goes a long way. And, you know, when you can feel somebody else's plight, you'll have a lot more compassion to it. Here's a couple of more comments. Every one of us has had some type of bullying or hate thrown at us. Absolutely. Here you learn to grow thicker skin, stay strong, true to yourself. Hey, real friends will stand with you. Patience and support is there. Just be you. 100%. 100%. And here from Maritza. Hi, Maritza. Thank you for the discussion. I'm always wary of the boundary between protective mom and yes, exactly. And where I can be overstepping. Yes. No, that when it comes to kids and having children, which I'm going to get the podcast up soon of a friend of mine who has children who came out and how she reacted. It's very important. I think that would be an interesting show to talk about parenting when you have a child that's in the rainbow community. I have 3. So, only one straight child. But
my mom and dad both. It's my sister Morgan and I are gay and lesbian, and the other 2 siblings. So mom's one other is straight, and from what I understand, the other one is too. But we'll see what happens. You never know.
You never know. I don't even question. I literally was trying to be such an open parent that we're
an open family. That we're gonna love you.
That it was actually hurtful to the point where my son is like, "No, I like girls." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
You assumed. See what
I just assumed, because I figured all the other ones are, so he has to be too. And he was like,
"We all make mistakes." Like I said, ignorance lies across the board. Ignorance is everywhere, and unless you educate yourself, don't assume.
You make an ass out of you and me. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you all so much for coming and listening in, and hopefully you got some pointers. And if there's anything that we said that could be out of line or out of step, please send me a message and I will correct it. But I think everything was pretty legit. So
at least from our opinion. Anyway. Yeah. And from Penn State. Thank you, Penn State, for
I know
a little snippet of information that we could run off of tonight.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Great show.
Thank you.
Very helpful. Thank you. Awesome. Do you have any last minute words?
Me? Do I have any last minute words?
Yeah, you.
It's like somebody else that I don't know. Sorry, I get so in, like when you were talking, I just like zoned in.
You zone in, yeah.
And I started listening, and then I'm like, oh wait, I'm on the camera.
It's that hypnotic, sexy voice.
It's the radio voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Any last minute things? If you're going to be an ally to the community, again, just educate yourself. Do the proper research. Do not out a person. That is the worst thing that you can possibly do.
Yes, we didn't even touch that, and that's important. And we only have 2 minutes. Did we didn't make it a huge thing, it was indirectly, but outing a person is a no.
Don't ever out somebody. Allow them to out themselves, or allow them to be them when they are ready.
Right.
Let me put it that way.
Exactly.
Let me put it that way. It's the better way.
100%. All right. Well, thank you for co-hosting with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I'm definitely down to do this again. So whenever you need me, I'll be here.
I'll definitely have you back. All right. Well, good night, everybody. And thank you for stopping in.
Yes.
There we go.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Brie, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area at 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
Thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode on Through Kaleidoscope Eyes. I sure do hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe to the show. See you next week.